this morning we'll be discussing the challenges of maritime operations in Nigeria. This is a very broad topic, and we have a very short time to do justice to the topic. So I will be doing a preview of maritime operations in Nigeria and discussing particularly the peculiar situation of maritime operations in Nigeria. Looking at the topic, challenges of maritime operations in Nigeria, we have two words that I need to lay emphasis on, and that is the word challenges and maritime operations. Okay. Operations or operations, the word operations is can be defined in different perspectives: the military perspective, technical perspective. The economy have a way of defining maritime operations, and if you ask the project managers, they will also have a way of defining operations. But for the purpose of our discussion this morning, I'll be looking at operations in the concept of as defined by corporate finance institution. The corporate finance institution defines operations as all those activities that businesses engage and daily. They add value. They add value to the enterprise, and at the same time, the end profit. Just recall that I need to remind us that we need to off our phones. We need to mute our phones or put on silent, and as well expect that at the end of this presentation we have the papers on our platform, our manual platform. So on this topic, I'll come back to operations, specific definition of operations as applicable to maritime. But on this topic, I'll be discussing about the seafarers' perspective or the challenges, what their challenges are, and the ship owners' perspective of what their challenges are in Nigeria. I will also be discussing Nigeria Maritime Administration and Safety Agency with regard to seafarers and as well as the ship owners. I will highlight the conflict of interest in the industry, and I would like to make some few recommendations as I draw conclusions. So what is maritime operations? Taking the clue from the Corporate Finance Institute definition of operations, I will define maritime operations as all those activities which include ship design, ship construction, ship building, ship ownership, ship registration, operations, the legal aspect of the operations, those activities up to when the vessel is scrapped, that we carry on with different supports for the business to add value in the supply chain, the shipping supply chain. It is in adding value that the ship owner makes profit. And it is in adding value that the seafarer earns a living. So the seafarer as a support, the port operation as well, both port operation and terminals, finance, very, very important in the operations, and insurance, both as well as quality. Okay, next slide. What are these seafarers and how can we provide solution to these challenges? Well, the seafarers' challenges are numerous. I will first view seafarers' challenges from the perspective of a seaman. So I have been in the field before. I've been sailing on board, rising up to the position of a chief engineer. I'll be able to speak a little bit as a seaman, and at the same time, I'll be looking at it as a ship owner. Of course, I had the opportunity of several times having a meeting with the ship owners, and I can feel their thoughts. How can we improve on capacity development for the seafarers? Our workshop lead last time we had this workshop laid emphasis on competency, which is the core of capacity development. So I will only be throwing a light on that, and also looking at ship owners' challenges and their business strategies. I will want to discuss from an outsider point of view. If you talk about NIMASA, I believe many of our colleagues in this platform will lecture me and they will explain to me how NIMASA works. But from the perspective of an outsider, a seafarer, the perspective from a ship owner, how do we see NIMASA? Okay, the picture you can see then, I try to give us a clue of what we are involved in today in the industry. So we are involved in port operation, terminal operation. We are also involved in offshore operations with different types of vessels and drilling operations. We are also involved in tanker operation, a little on crude oil, but more on product tankers and liquefied natural gas tankers. What will be the learning outcome of this workshop? At the end of this workshop, we should be able to understand the peculiarity of maritime operations in Nigeria, as well as comprehend those specific challenges, difficulties, and problems, anomalies that are facing us as seamen, as well as ship owners, with a view to provide some solutions, a way forward, how we can improve on our maritime operations at the same time influence capacity development in the industry.
Orogun, please, can you allow some people in? I think some people are waiting because you are the host now, so you have the permission to allow them in.
Okay, okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay. You have more, please bear with me. Okay, I guess I have all, okay, 3 more waiting. Okay, thank you. Just in case you observe someone else is waiting, call me, please. Learning, I was talking about the learning outcomes, and I said, lastly, we'll be looking at the modalities for stakeholders, both the seamen, the owners, and NIMASA to contribute to strategic development of the Nigerian maritime operation. I need to admit Victor. Looking at Nigerian maritime operations from the perspective of seafarers, I'll be talking about training. So we'll discuss a lot during the last presentation about training. Well, I'm looking at training challenges that we have. training challenges that we have. First, we can talk about quality of training, and that is one of the main challenges. That we can look at both quality in terms of technology or training materials, and we can also look at training skills, acquired skills for both for the lecturers. I want to ask this question. Maybe that will help us to understand the training challenges we have. Are Nigerian seafarers born with disadvantage? My answer is no. They are not born with any type of disadvantage that makes them different or not competitive with international seamen. The reason or the difference lies in training, certification, skills, and experience. So how can we develop our training? First, I look at training for a seaman as expensive. So if I'm to read medicine, or if I'm to read law, after my law school, I should be practicing law. Maybe from time to time, I have some training and retrain. But if you're a seaman, after your COC and after graduating probably with an academic certificate, national diploma or higher national diploma or BSc Marine Engineering or Nautical Science, you still have to go through several training, and in this case, very expensive training. So how can we support the seafarers to improve on self-development and career development? I'll give you an example, a personal example. Some years ago, I had to take a DP maintenance training. This was a 5-day training, and it cost a whooping $4,000 US. That is fee, only fee, no accommodation, no feeding. So at the end, on Friday, I was asking myself what value I got after spending $4,000 US. How long will I work on board to regain $4,000 US? So my I emphasize on this, that we need to look at training and development of our seamen and how to improve training, which will influence our certification. So certification today, we have near coastal voyage certification, I mean the certificate of competency. I look at an option to be considered, such as liberalizing preparation of training, which will give the private sector the opportunity to prepare candidates for COC to be conducted by NIMASA. I mean, clearly that NIMASA still remain the examiner when it comes to COC. Competency, salaries, and structures. I was just being curious, and I want to compare the salaries that we earn as seamen with all over the world. And I can see that on the internet, we have 42,000, 41,000 US dollar per annum for an able seaman. I don't see any salary structure. I have attended meetings with ship owners and managers, directors in the industry, talking about seafarers training. And they tell me, all we need to know is that what is company A paying and what is company B paying. So demand and supply is moderating our market when it comes to seafarers risk compensation. I believe we need some form of structures. If you compare it with the banks, you compare it with the manufacturing industries, I see that there are some form of structures of salary payment. So seamen should have some form of, I suggest that we can look up to the master to establish some form of structures and standard for salaries.
Okay. Standard, you're going to number 38A. Okay.
Okay, please mute your speaker. Standard, safety, and quality of seafarers. It's closely related to the training that I have emphasized. By the time we improve our training, we should get, that should improve safety, that will also improve our quality. Okay, my computer is hanging, please bear with me. Now, ship owners' perspective of the challenges in the industry. First, I look at inadequate shipping and boat shipping infrastructure and port infrastructure. Port infrastructure, one pathetic example I can give, just like an overview of my personal experience. I had a great coursemate who told me she was a charterer then. She chartered a product tanker and sent to Lagos, and the product tanker could not at the port to discharge because of infrastructures we have on ground. She spent, the vessel spent 7 days waiting at the anchorage, and she says that due to the damage, she ran at a loss and would not want to send her vessel to Nigeria anymore. I hope we can get understanding of these challenges we have. So the ship owners look at the infrastructure on ground. So if you talk about shipwreck in our waterways and the impact it has in maritime operation on vessel grounding infrastructure. So, I mean, we need to dredge our waterways. In terms of port infrastructures, there's no doubt we need to improve on our port infrastructures. Insufficient funding. We could spend the whole day talking about insufficient funding, but just to highlight it, this is one of the aspects that I'm interested in and presently actually researching on. Worldwide, governments is no more giving a fund like Father Christmas, where we have our ship acquisition and ship building fund. We had our ship acquisition and ship building fund. It sounds like one of those national cakes. And now we have cabotage vessel finance fund, not yet dispersed to the best of my knowledge, but still, this is not the prevailing approach to worldwide. Prevailing approach worldwide is development banks. China, for instance, is using development banks. So if Nigeria want to dispense, NIMASA want to dispense CVF fund, I advise introduction of a maritime development fund, Nigeria Maritime Development Fund, which will be an independent fund overseen by NIMASA, and a commercial-based fund giving out loans at 0 or one digit, giving out loans at 1 digit interest rate. The ship owners look at business strategy is also poor. Many of the ship owners have short-term as their business strategy. Oh, I understand there is money in the maritime business, and then they simply go into it only to find out that, yes, it is a capital-intensive business, but at the same time, you need to reinvest this capital into the business. And once the market cycle goes round, usually it's between 5 and 7 days, 7 years rather, permit me. 5 and 7 years, the market is dipping. We have a first dip through recession, first recession presently. That's because of the COVID-19. So for the ship owners who are not saving towards the market cycle dip, they will find it difficult to survive this time because we're going to see some vessels laid up. So the ship owners, the regulations today is a body. So regulations from IMO, whether it is SOLAS and its associated regulations, or it is from NIMASA, or it's from Nigerian local content development, or it's from DPR. The last two, Nigerian local content development and DPR, are all for coastal operations, coastal shipping. So these burdens are where we look at as a challenge for the ship owners, that we need assistance of the authority, the maritime NIMASA, to support the ship owners in compliance with the existing regulations. Roadmap to business continuity, it is planning and planning again. So the ship owner needs to plan and to support skill development and certification in the shipping industry. The ship owner needs to also support standard and quality of training, contribute to training. What if, a suggestion, I'm seeing our time, so I have 6 minutes more. What if so I'm going to run through it. What if we use part of the 2%, if we dedicate part of the 2% cabotage contribution by the ship owners, we use it for training development in Nigerian polytechnics, Nigerian monotechnics. NIMASA and seafarers, relations to seafarers continues. In Nigeria, as a result of maritime industry, taxation, and lack of training support. Because of the brain drain in Nigeria, we are losing many hands. So I met one of the senators some times ago, and he's asking me, what are you doing in Nigeria? And so what we expect is that if we can improve on our training support, which Amano concept is behind, then we are likely to more seafarers in Nigeria. If we diversify our COC preparation centers, not calling names, there are private organizations who are doing training today, not COC preparation, but which when you go there, you see that the quality is high, and which the NIMASA can capitalize on to audit and ask them to improve their training facilities and technology, so that they be accredited to provide, to serve as COC preparation centers. NIMASA and the ship owners, how does the ship owners see NIMASA? They see NIMASA as money-making venture, another tax collection center, apart from the IRS. So some years ago, I was with one director on NIMASA, and he or she, I don't know to give names. So the point I want to make is that give me an impression that the DG is giving them a target, financial target per year. This will always strain the ship owner. Instead of reinvesting the fund, a huge amount of money, one of the companies at the end of the year, when we calculate, I'm not permitted to say it in this forum. Then for the captain as seafarers, once we have inspectors from NIMASA boarding the vessel, the word we hear is detention. You bring the form and you complete and you hear detention. So what is the philosophy behind the detention? Why I solicit for detention of violators, but also solicit that the philosophy should not be behind detention as the aim, but the goal is how to assist the ship owners and the seafarers improve on quality standard on board. So funding maritime business is very essential, and NIMASA should have to ship owners. Ship owners also need to avoid cutting corners and undermining safety, and ensuring that safety is and always on board our vessels. poor of vessels, vessels which are out of class, vessels which are out of class should not actually be in operation in Nigerian waters. And they should also support the competence of the crew. Looking at a few minutes I have, I want to look at mention shortly the conflict of interest in the maritime industry. As I mentioned before, if NIMASA's drive is on revenue from the ship owners and the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria, you can at least I have 3 of them: Indigenous Ship Owners Association of Nigeria and Ship Owners Association of Nigeria. So with this, we cannot form a quorum to be able to influence government decisions. So we need solution to this challenge is for the ship owners to come together and form a forum, a lobby group that can influence NIMASA and indeed influence government decisions. Foreign investment in shipping is actually targeted at how much money they can take home. So NIMASA is helping us in many ways, but the ship owners need to be assisted to improve on their capacity so that we have less foreign investment and repatriation of funds. Okay, because of my time, I'll be rounding off with a conclusion with the few minutes I have. What I've just discussed is challenges of maritime operations in Nigeria, and I've laid emphasis on the need to improve on training, certification, and skill development. We need a certificate of competency that is unlimited, and ship owners' business strategy should not be a short term as to how much I can make, but how I can stay in business in the next 10 years, in the next 20 years. And NIMASA also should assist us as the moderator of the maritime operation in Nigeria with strategic development as the utmost, and not how much money NIMASA can make from the industry. Ultimately, with this, we can grow and develop maritime operations in Nigeria. Thank you very much.